This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Jed's Barbershop. Go get a haircut, a beard trim, or even a straight razor shave. Jed's Barbershop is open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday 9 to 7, and Sunday 12 to 5. They just opened up a brand new location located at 167 East, 900 South, right next to Randy's Records. They also have a location downtown at 212 South, 700 East, and in Sugar House at 2153 East, 2100 South. No appointment is necessary. Head on over to jedsbarbershop.com for more information.
Showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people, making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
Welcome to episode 263 of I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name's Chris Hollifield.
And I'm Chrissy Shelley.
Hey, today on the podcast, we sit down with Elias Caress. For those of you listening that might not ever have heard of him, he's a local Salt Lake City magician. First time ever having a magician on the podcast. At least I think so.
I think so too.
It was such a great conversation.
It was. And he did magic trick for us.
He did. I wasn't sure exactly how that would turn out. You're going to have to listen to the entire episode to listen.
See if it makes any sense.
But this was a really, really cool conversation.
Yeah.
He was able to share his story, how he got involved with doing the whole entertainment business, doing magician work, traveling, what it's like being an entrepreneur and doing his own business. We're going to get into all of that, so stay tuned for that.
And if this is your first time listening to I Am Salt Lake, you should head on over to iamsaltlake.com. You can dig through our back catalog of episodes, check out all the interesting people that we've interviewed in the past. You can check out the food scene, the drink scene. We've talked to cocktail people, bartenders, musicians, comedians. Who else have we talked to?
Authors.
Yeah, authors,
restaurant
activists,
owners,
photographers.
I mean, really everything. I mean, it's going to give you a taste of Salt Lake City.
Yes.
Again, iamsaltlake.com is a website. Listen to all the episodes right there online. I wanted to say something, though, here really quick. It's really cool. We've been getting a lot of international notice. It's really cool. I've been chatting with this guy from Ireland, and he finds it so interesting, just the different things. He actually talked a little bit about, he was sending me some tweets, curious about the Irish stew that Jed was talking about on when Jed from Jed's Barbershop was on the podcast. He was like, well, how do they make vegan Irish stew? So I was kind of trying to
Because Irish stew is just meat? I
guess. So it's just been really interesting. And then that same week, our friends over at Oleo Skin and Beard mentioned they sent a package to New Zealand of some Oleo products.
Yeah, supposedly they heard about him through us.
Yeah, they did. I'm pretty sure it was Nikki and John, though.
It's got to be.
Over in
we have some amazing listeners and friends.
It's, a lot of people, when I started this podcast, they didn't think it would go outside of Salt Lake City, but it's really cool to see it loved on an international level, kind of showing how small of a world that we live in.
Well, it really
today.
proves that human connection is the most important thing. I mean, what you're doing is you're connecting people to people.
Exactly.
That's it. It doesn't really matter where you are. We just happen to be located in Salt Lake.
This episode is also sponsored by Oleo Skin and Beard. If you're like us, your skin is dry, your beard is dry, you need to moisturize. Oleo Skin and Beard carries an amazing line of skin oils, beard butters for moisturizing and shaping your beard.
Exfoliants?
Great facial
Wonderful
cleansers.
exfoliants. Oh my goodness. Rose water?
Head on over to their website, oleoskin.com. You can order directly on the website. You can also find out what shops locally carry their products. Again, that website is oleoskin.com. All right, let's get into the conversation we had with Elias, where we talk magic and being an entertainer here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Enjoy.
It's just like a voice warm up exercise, but it's my favorite mic check. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the posts and still insists he sees the ghosts.
So he's punching stuff at night. I can't hear myself at all. Oh, there you go.
He's just doing things that sort of like rhyme with each other.
You must do a lot of microphone checks.
A fair amount, I guess.
Is that because of your performances?
Yes.
Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Is that what you're?
I talk a lot.
You have to do a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, before a show like a magic show or whatever, I do like to check the mic. And I think a little tongue twister is more interesting than check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
And it kind of gets, you have a long enough time to actually be speaking that you can actually hear what it will sound like when you are speaking.
Exactly.
As opposed to just 1 2 3 check.
Yeah, like I'm a strip club DJ. Listen to me.
Well, I think officially you are the first magician on I Am Salt Lake podcast.
Nice.
I don't think we've had another magician on here.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
I hope I don't ruin it
I don't
for the
think
rest
there's
of
a lot of magicians in Salt Lake City, is there?
There is a magic club. I'm not supposed to tell you about it, but no one else is
First
listening,
rule
right?
of Magic Club is don't talk about Magic
Right,
Club.
exactly.
That was the worst joke ever, and I apologize for saying it.
Well, and we're going to get into all of that on this episode with you. I mean, I'm hoping to find out, your complete story.
Okay.
from where you got to become a magician to modern day, find out about what you have going on.
I'm ready to tell all. This is going to be fun. Yeah.
Have you done many podcasts? Have you done any podcasts?
I've done a few. Never like when I was being interviewed, but I read a story for a podcast once. I wrote a story, actually, a fiction story for a podcast once.
Really?
Yeah.
Like local podcast or?
No. It was a short fiction podcast. It's kind of like a Weird Tales sort of idea. I wrote a short story called "Support Group for the Supernaturally Afflicted." And this guy, he gets lost going to his AA meeting, and he goes to this room where there's like a demon and like werewolves and vampires, and they're all just like doing group therapy. And
That sounds right up my alley.
it was hilarious. Yeah.
What's the name of this podcast? Do you remember? I put you on the spot already.
No. I think it's called Pseudopod.
Pseudopod.
Yeah, but it has been years. That was when podcasts were new.
And no one really knew what they were yet.
Exactly. Yeah, no one knew what they were doing, but we were trying it anyway. So this is like 10, 15 years ago.
Well, right on.
Yeah, it was fun though.
Right on. Now, so where's home? Did you grow up here in Salt Lake City, or where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I moved out to go to college in Phoenix, Arizona. I hated that. So I moved here for a job. I hated that, and that's kind of what got me into the entertainment industry.
What was the job that you hated?
I was an engineer for a bank, actually. I worked in their operations center. And
Oh,
they
wow.
Had,
You're like, screw all the school I just did. I'm going to do magic.
That's how my parents took it. That's exactly how my parents took it.
That sounds about right.
How long ago was this, approximately? Just to kind of get
that was 6 years ago. It will be 6 years in in June that I quit the job.
So when you did you just quit cold turkey? Were you just like, I'm out?
Yes. Yeah,
Really?
I hated it. I had the strong sensation that I was wasting my life with my gainful employment. So, yeah, I hated it, and I just quit.
Were you doing magic shows prior to that at all, like on the side?
Yes. Yeah. Well, how it all started, I hated the job, and I was miserable. So a friend of mine, she told me, look, you're miserable. You're making us miserable. You do something. Learn a hobby. Here's a book. Learn a magic trick. I don't care. Just do something. And it kind of snowballed from there. I did get my career started as a kid as a fortune teller. I would read people's palms and tarot cards.
As a kid?
Well, a teenager.
You were reading.
So you've always been like
tarot cards.
fascinated by the unknown. What's the word for that?
The supernatural.
The supernatural. Oh man, there's a word that there's like the word
paranormal. There's
We're gonna have to pause this because I got. Oh man, I gotta think of this word. It starts with an O.
Occult.
Yeah, the occult.
Okay.
Is that's tarot cards?
Yeah.
Palm reading.
I suppose so.
I guess magic really isn't occultish.
So anyway, you were doing this as a teenager, and then later on in life.
Oh, I kind of dropped it all for the job.
So you weren't doing magic tricks as a kid?
No.
See, that's how I envisioned you.
That's how most magicians start their career. Yeah,
You know,
that's true,
the coin trick or the rope or like, because I used to dabble in a few magic tricks in my clowning days. And, I had the milk pitcher, that you pour the milk into the newspaper. And it's like, oh, where did it to go.
Yeah,
And then,
I like that trick. That's a good trick.
Oh man.
anyway, so you hated your job.
Yeah, yeah.
And your friend's like, do magic.
Right. Oh, she didn't care what I did.
She just wanted you to get away from
just do something.
sadness.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I was like 25 when I learned my first magic trick.
Really?
Yeah. Which that is the opposite of most magicians. They say, "Oh, I was like 3 years old and Grandpa had me back palming," and that's how most stories start. But no, I was 25. I hated the job. I was miserable. My friend bought me a book on magic tricks. I learned a card trick from there, and it kind of snowballed really crazy from there. It was just a hobby, something for fun. So I wasn't doing it for the love of magic exactly. I was just doing it for interesting things to do. So I learned to juggle. I learned cowboy arts, which is kind of an obscure.
Yeah, you do
thing.
like Western shows.
Yeah.
I saw that's pretty fun. All the lassoing and
Yeah, that was fun.
like a whip trick. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll whip like cigarettes out of people's mouths and things like that. It is a lot of fun.
I should have brought a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, why didn't you do that?
Normally, what I do now is I buy a big pack of spaghetti noodles and I'll whip a spaghetti noodle out of someone's mouth.
So it's like Dare approved.
Like
Like the Dare program. If it's a kids show, you can't whip cigarettes out of their mouth.
That is true. Well, I don't use the whip in a lot of kid shows anyway.
Oh, that's probably a good idea.
But yeah, I would imagine it would be Dare approved. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm thinking like a mom.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah. Anyway, for years I would just do things just to try them. Like someone's, I learned card tricks, and there was a period in I want to say 2006, 2007 when Variety got very, very popular for corporate events. And I knew like 3 card tricks, and some guy says, "Look, I'm desperate. I need a magician. I'll pay you $700 to come do card tricks with me for a couple hours at this party." And yeah, I was like a weekend warrior at that. I had never been paid to perform other than like a fortune telling, and I had never gotten nearly that much right before. And so I did it, and it was great. But that was like a brief period, and then a few years after that, like variety arts just were like unpopular at corporate parties, and you couldn't get any work at all as a magician or anything else. But the guy who got me that gig, he called himself Diamond Jim, and his character was a cowboy. He dressed up like a cowboy and he'd go around doing magic tricks. And then he introduced me to some other people. That's how I got the name Lefty, actually. My name is Elias, but for another gig, the next gig, that one didn't actually pay even. But at the time, I didn't care.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said, the $700 for the first 2 hours, and then after that, nothing. It was kind of bizarre. But he said, "Okay, well, we got another gig, but you have to dress up like a cowboy." And my name is Elias, so Elias is not a good cowboy name in the slightest, right? So just like last minute, he says, "I don't know, Lefty." That's a good one. So I would walk around and say, "Howdy, folks, I'm Lefty." And I met people who ended up being like really good long-term friends at that gig, and they knew me as Lefty.
Just kind of stuck.
Exactly, yeah.
So you're not left-handed or anything.
I'm ambidextrous, but ambidextrous is a terrible nickname. It's
amputee.
I don't like that either.
Yeah.
Those are also terrible cowboy names.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So you just started doing shows. It just started picking up for you.
Yeah.
Just kind of, and all of a sudden it's your full-time job.
Well, for years I didn't care about the money.
Or is it your full-time job now?
It is my full-time job now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been full-time entertainer for 6 years in June.
Okay.
Yeah. But for those years, I didn't care about pay. I was just trying to keep myself sane on the weekends, And so I would do just all these things for fun. I did the cowboy thing, started doing Renaissance fairs, being a pirate. I was Captain Lefty. That was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That got me. I was looking for new things to do in my stage act at the Renaissance Fair. So I found sideshow stunts, and I started hammering nails up my nose. I built this like a plexiglass box full of broken glass, like broken bottles, and I would walk barefoot in it.
Wow.
For the Renaissance Fair.
Did you just learn those on your own, or did you find someone who knew them and learn? Because I've listened actually to a podcast about the nail thing specifically. It's called Blockheads, right? That do that?
Yeah.
But I've heard it's very dangerous to try to train yourself.
Yeah, sure. No, I had a friend who was a chiropractor.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he said
he's like, here's your brain. Don't put it there.
Right. He had for money in his chiropractor office. He had these really long like Q-tip sort of things, and he would dip them in some sort of herbal solution, and he would jam them up your nose just like the blockhead trick. If you had sinus problem, and it would cure you, you know. So he was a friend of mine, so he just showed me how to do it. He shoved it up my nose.
Wow.
And so then I would practice with the Q-tips, and I eventually graduated to like screwdrivers and nails and things like that.
Have you ever heard of the Jim Rose Circus Sideshow?
Yes.
Have you heard of that, Chrissy?
No, but we should watch it.
It reminded me of that because they would just do the most fascinating things like juggle lawnmowers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just
weird.
I got another story about that, but yeah, he was...
Bring up juggling
Right,
lawnmowers.
and
Of course you have a story. Why wouldn't you?
So anyway, you're
awesome.
jamming stuff up your nose.
Yeah. That was for the Renaissance Fair because at the time I was big into card tricks, but that's not really very Renaissance. So I had to expand the repertoire.
Kind of back to the old ages
Exactly,
of entertainment. Yeah.
Well, and at that time I knew like cowboy tricks and card tricks, and none of those really worked for pirate. Excuse me. So I had to expand the thing. So I got into the circus sideshow thing. I built a bed of nails. I did a little bit of fire eating. A bartender taught me how to fire breathe with rum. Wow. I guess that's not how most of the pros do it with rum, but that's how I learned
if it worked.
So yeah.
Did you ever accidentally singe off any of your facial hair?
I set my whole head on fire once. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I burned both eyebrows off. I had a blister on the top of my head.
Oh my
For a while. It was really nasty.
Jeez, it's so dangerous.
Well, yeah, it was the weekend warrior. I was doing all these in my backyard.
You're just testing them out, seeing if they stick.
All the things like if a man on stage said, "Kids, don't try this at home," I would try that at home.
Did you ever have like a spotter? Or someone to put you out if you caught on fire, for example?
Yeah.
Called the fire department and said, "Hey, I'm putting myself on fire over here.
Get here quick. My head is currently on fire." I had a friend of mine. He had a wet towel and he kind of tackled me.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good friend.
Yeah, he was.
And how old were you during all of this?
That was late 20s. Yeah.
And how did you explain this to your employers when you came into work, like on Monday with burns and singeing, like missing eyebrows?
I was definitely the black sheep of that outfit. Yeah. I also did like Thai boxing on the weekends, just whatever to keep myself sane. So every now and then I'd come in with like a black eye or missing eyebrows or whatever. So yeah, they did not like me at that job. Yeah. And that.
So how does a magician or somebody like yourself, how do you get work? Is it all referrals?
Most of it. I was kind of fortunate enough to do this for on the weekends for so many years that by the time I was ready to go full time, I could get enough work by word of mouth. Like enough people had seen me to recommend me to get enough gigs to make a living out of it.
Sure.
There's a bit of like marketing, like putting yourself out there.
I mean, do you ever get nervous that there isn't any work, or do you stay busy enough?
There has been some slow periods, but yeah, any self-employed person kind of has an issue with cash flow. And so you do whatever you can.
But it sounds like you do all kinds of shows, children's parties, business events.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about that for a little bit, or even people listening can know what they could hire you for.
Oh,
even, I guess.
Hire me for whatever pays well.
Well, because I would imagine in Utah, right, there's tons of kids here, right? People love kids. People
and kids love magic.
Only in Utah do people love their children. That's a Utah thing.
But I mean, we'll spend money on our kids here, right? Like we we like to, make big birthday parties and events. And I mean, you would have been perfect for my work Christmas party.
Oh man.
I mean, anyway, kind of give an idea what people can expect or hire you for.
Well, that's kind of a story in itself. For so long I would do this just for fun, so I didn't care about doing it as a career at the time until like it was kind of ready to make that leap. But after I did quit the job, I was told that as a full-time professional, you don't want to do these variety of things. You want to pick one thing and specialize in
So
it.
even get more niche.
Yeah, exactly.
Then.
Yeah. You want to
Interesting.
do either corporate, nothing else, or either children shows and nothing else. And by then it was like it was too late.
Because you'd already done everything.
Exactly, yeah. And I tried to make the niche thing. Like I said, okay, just corporate shows and nothing else. But people kept calling me for fortune telling gigs, or they said, oh, we need a cowboy for this thing.
So it's more like that you had the word of mouth out there in so many areas that you couldn't retract it. You couldn't be like, no, you've never heard of me. I don't do that.
Yeah, that's basically.
Do you find that affects you though? I mean, do you find that you actually enjoy still doing a variety of things, or do you think
absolutely.
You'd prefer a niche?
No, I do definitely enjoy the variety. It can be stressful at times if you're doing a whole bunch of one type of act and you have to prepare a completely different type of act in quick succession. That can definitely be stressful, but you put the work into it and you can do it, definitely.
Okay, I have a silly question, but you have a fantastic beard, mustache. You even go up so that it accents your dimples. The works, right? Do you ever have people come up to you on the street and ask if you think you look like a magician, or did you know you look like a magician?
Yes.
Who don't know that you do it?
Yes, all the time. Well, every now and then, I don't know why. I guess there's a famous video game with a guy with a beard. I don't even know what it was, but for a few years, people kept on coming up to me and says, "Are you the guy from the video game?"
Really?
Yeah, and I never learned
you're
which
cosplaying
one it was.
all day, every day.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I didn't know which video game it was. I just kind of looked at him funny. And
You're like, yes, I am.
Yeah, by the time I thought to ask people, what are you talking about? Then they stopped asking me that. So I guess the video game was
went
passé
out of
back then. Yeah.
Yep.
When the movie Hunger Games came out, I got that a lot. Even though this beard is nothing like the one in the movie.
But you could see it. It could make an appearance in the movie. It's very Hunger Games-esque.
Is it? Okay. Well, my girlfriend's a hairdresser, so she kind of does this for me. And
well, you're lucky there.
Yeah, that's handy. Yes. You save a lot of money.
I am. Yeah, I am definitely lucky. She's my lovely assistant, and she has helped me quite a bit because she has made a living as a hairdresser her entire life, and so she helped me as a sort of consultant to be self-employed. So that was
she's helped you create an image and everything.
Yeah.
Or even how to just
idea.
paperwork, right? How to keep all your receipts.
Yes, yeah.
Because that's difficult.
The gross part.
It was a huge paradigm shift for me. My entire family was all blue collar and everything like that, and I hadn't really known anyone who was self-employed until her. And so it was a huge paradigm shift, things that you wouldn't even think about.
Like what? Like
waking up in the morning, set your alarm, wake up, you do your work. I kind of, for a while, just hung around, watching TV, waiting for the phone to ring. And my girlfriend says, "No, you don't want to do that. You want to get ready for the next thing that's going to come up. You don't want to waste any time that you have." Yeah, just little things like that. Marketing yourself. The whole working from home thing. You have to kind of prepare your mind for, okay, now I'm at work. Now I'm working. Now I'm off. Now I can take a lunch break.
It's a whole different mindset. You have to be your own boss.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just want to fire yourself.
Right. Yeah. And I was not really prepared for that. I didn't really expect.
You were just living the life. You're like, I get to watch my soaps now. I get to,
for a very brief
hang out in my
period,
underwear. Drink beer at 10 a.m.
Self-employment's the best.
But I mean, it's a scary thing. Okay, so here's a question then. For somebody, let's say somebody listening wanted to become self-employed. Throw the magician thing out the window.
Sure.
What would you tell them or recommend for them?
Yeah, well, that's
or
a tough one.
is there one or two things? I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of things, really.
Yeah.
The be your own boss thing was a huge leap for me at the time. It did help me quite a bit to compare myself to other self-employed people. Like, what would a plumber do when he doesn't have work coming in? What would a lawyer do when he doesn't have work coming in? Things like that. And sometimes if the work is not coming in, you have to go out and get it.
So cold call, right? You would just randomly call people. Hello, do you want a
Do
magician?
you have a child? Do they have a birthday?
That's how David Copperfield got his career started.
Really?
Yes. In New York, he started knocking on doors.
That is
in an
awesome.
apartment building. Someone would answer the door and he said, "Hi, I'm David Copperfield." Well, his real name is I don't recall it. It's something kind of silly that he had to change to Copperfield. But he would just knock on doors and said, "Hi, I'm a magician. I'm new in New York. Do you have any need for a magician?"
Do you think nowadays that would go over, or do you think he would have the police called on him?
I don't know, but like eventually he did it, and eventually he knocked on like a TV producer's door.
No way.
And the TV producer said, "Well, yeah, actually we have some empty time we need to fill, so yeah, that'd be great. Come with me." And that's how he got started.
Hey,
Come
good
with
for
me, get in my car.
Yeah,
Get in my
there might
windowless
have been free
van.
candy involved. He didn't say that in his.
This whole
biography,
story
but-
sounds sketchy.
So you need to market yourself then. I mean, where would
Yes.
you suggest? How should someone market themselves?
Well,
It depends on what you're doing.
It does depend on what you're doing. There's kind of three schools of thought in my experiences.
Yeah.
There's the hunting method, the fishing method, and the farming method. The hunting, I don't do a lot. Is where you pick someone like a company. Like, I want to work for UPS. And so you start hunting them down. You start looking for people who work for UPS and start talking to them. Say, "Hey, can you tell me who's in charge of hiring this sort of contractor or that sort of contractor?" That would be hunting. Fishing would be kind of you throwing your bait out there, like you put your you buy advertising or something like that. That would fall in the category of fishing, where you put your bait out there and you wait for someone to come to you. But then there's the farming, which would be like a network marketing sort of thing. You meet people, you make friends, and then those people, when they hear of a need for your services, then they'll think of you because you've cultivated those relationships. And those are all valid ways. One might be more appropriate for some sort of trade than another thing. I do kind of farming and fishing more than hunting.
That's kind of
You
nice.
seem more like a fisherman
Yeah.
than a hunter. Just a relaxed, laid-back guy. Let's actually take a quick break. We have a message from our sponsor. We're going to play here, and then we'll come back and chat with you some more about being a magician here
Wonderful.
in Salt Lake City.
All right.
So hang tight. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Jed's Barbershop. Go get a haircut, a beard trim, or even a straight razor shave. Jed's Barbershop is open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday, 9 to 7, and Sunday, 12 to 5. They just opened up a brand new location located at 167 East, 900 South, right next to Randy's Records. They also have a location downtown at 212 South, 700 East, and in Sugar House at 2153 East, 2100 South. No appointment is necessary. Head on over to jedsbarbershop.com for more information. I have a question. As an entertainer, a lot of times, when you're an entertainer, you do it for a lot more than the financial part
Yes.
of it. There's other aspects of it. What would you describe as the most rewarding aspect of performing for you?
Wow. I'm more happy now than I have ever been in my entire life. I kind of wonder sometimes, if I were a rich man, how much money would I spend to be happy? But right now, I can't imagine realistically being happier than I am right now. Just my life is a dream. I love it so much.
That's awesome.
That's kind of like amazing.
You've just inspired me to go give my 2 weeks notice tomorrow at work.
Way to
I
go,
want to be happy. That's all I want to do is just be happy. I want to be you.
Nah, I love what I do. 2 weeks ago, I was in Tucson, and I got to see some beautiful places and then meet some beautiful people there. That was so great. Last week, I started my 6-week run at the Children's Theater. That's going to be a lot of fun.
We saw your billboard.
Yeah, did you?
Let's actually talk about that because this will be up. I mean, and during while it's going on.
Okay,
so,
great, yeah.
What is the show? When is it?
Sure. Well, I do want to address the misnomer. It is called the Children's Theater, but it is technically a family show, and the difference between that is if I were to perform a children's show, like in an elementary school or a birthday party or something like that, if they're really young kids, the show would consist mostly of me like falling down, hitting myself in the head, and just like
Physical humor? Is it like physical?
yeah, well, just like things a 6-year-old would just laugh his butt off at that sort of thing, but like an adult would not. But if that's a children's show, like an adult would probably not enjoy it
Right.
very well. But a family show has to be good for all ages, like because grandma and grandpa will be there, the parents will be there, 5-year-olds will be there, 13-year-olds will be there, and so you have to have it's an all ages show. It's not a children's show anymore. And even though it is at a place called the Children's Theater, it is an all ages show, and so it's fun for everyone.
Do you find that it's harder to do a show and try to reach all ages and keep them all happy than to target one specific age?
Oh yes, so much more difficult.
Oh man,
if you were to study the science of performing for children, it's very different. Like you don't want to perform for younger than 5, or if you did that, you would be more of a clown, just like making faces and things like that.
Yeah,
for something younger than a 5-year-old. 5 to 7. They're really not logical. Like a 5 to 7-year-old does not think logically, but they think predictably. So, like, if you were to drop something like that, then all the 6-year-olds would shout, "Oh, you dropped it!" And you can make an entire act out of just dropping things,
right?
And it's as long as you know what to expect, it's really easy, and you can make a very entertaining show for a 6-year-old, and it's easy. But it's like you said, like an adult would not really enjoy that. Like 8 to 10 is a little bit more. You kind of get away from that. They really appreciate the repetition. Like if you do something fun, like drop something, or you make a coin disappear, something like that, they do appreciate that. But if you make that coin disappear like 4 or 5 times, they'll love it more each time you do it.
It's like the anticipation builds up to it more and more or something.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
If you watch it, if you really pay attention, if you watch it, then you'll see what I'm talking about. Like I'll make a little hanky disappear, something like that, and then like the first time, like the kids are like, "Oh, okay, wow," but you do it again, they're like, more reaction.
Yeah.
And then if you do it like 4 or 5 times, by the end they're like just rolling around on the ground, like, "Oh, so amazing! He made it disappear. He did the same thing over and over again for 5 times. We loved it."
All you need is one magic trick.
So for people, where is the Utah Children's Theater at? Do you know the address off the top of your head? Or I could put it with the show notes with this at I Am Salt Lake, I guess.
Sure, I can send you a link. It would probably be the easiest way.
Send that link over.
It's on State Street and 34th South.
I think it's on the east side of the road. I'm not mistaken.
It is.
Yeah, I know where it is. I think we should take the kids to this, Chrissy.
I think we should too. They would love it.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
So when is the show times? Like in the evening time?
The Friday is 7 o'clock. Saturday there's a matinee at 1 o'clock, and then last show is 4:30.
So it's Fridays and Saturdays only?
Oh, Fridays, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Well,
Which is really easy for me. For 6 weeks, I only have to work twice a week. So
that would be so nice.
Maybe I
Wanna
need to
trade
look
jobs?
into being a magician.
Time to learn some magic.
You know what I mean?
Oh, no, except this Tuesday, I did a magic show for an eyebrow convention.
An eyebrow.
They have those. Yes.
Like women's eyebrows?
Yes.
Tweezing, waxing,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Yeah, they had a convention, and
Wow.
there was some sort of new revolutionary technique for tweezing, or I don't know what it is.
So they had to make a convention.
Yeah, they
ladies,
did.
we have a new tweezer technique.
Any excuse to get together.
And so it was like a 5-day convention where they were teaching the latest innovations of eyebrow maintenance. and I was doing this show, and I asked, well, it was like a 5-day thing, and so they're like, okay, by day 4, these people are just like becoming like numb in their mind just from sitting down watching eyebrows all for 5 days straight. So we need something to break it up. So they asked me to do some sort of variety show in the middle of that. And then in the middle of it, I did ask, okay, raise your hand if you are a local person from Utah. And not a single person raised their hand. There's a few people out there who were like, there was a lot of Europeans, a lot of Asians.
They flew to Utah to learn eyebrow artistry, whatever kind of artistry that is. I've heard of eyebrow embroidery, threading. Maybe it was one of those.
No, I haven't heard of that. Wow. Well, I didn't really stick around.
Well, I'm a lady, so.
Okay. That is true. That is true. But yeah, I did that Tuesday, so I had to work 3 days this week.
Oh,
I know.
No. You hear that? That's the world's tiniest violin playing a song just for you. You know, boo-hoo. You know? But you got to make things disappear. So is there a magic trick that you would like to learn that you haven't, or is that probably too hard to describe, or is that, you know what I mean? I don't know. Is there...
But there's always something. There's always something to look forward to. Yeah. Even the big ones like David Copperfield. He's like, oh, I walked through the wall of China. What am I going to do next? Yeah, magic is something that there's always something bigger and better to do. And yeah, I have that right now. I'm working on. I'm going to see a consultant in May, and you can look him up. His name is Jeff McBride. He's got like a Guinness World Record for the fastest hands.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's like the consultant to the big ones, like David Copperfield has paid him for ideas and things like this. Yeah, he's one of those big ones. And I'm going to go meet with him in May, and we're going to work on some stuff.
Here in Utah? Or
no, in Vegas. In Vegas, yeah.
Have you ever thought about going to Vegas and doing a show?
Oh, I hate Vegas.
You hate Vegas?
I've done shows in Vegas, yeah. There are good people in Vegas, but only because they've come to Vegas from somewhere better. I am not a fan of Vegas.
Living in Vegas would be a whole different thing.
I hate it. I hate it. I couldn't imagine living there.
So where have you gone then to do shows? Like every state or
not every
most
state,
of the western states or
I regularly perform in Idaho, Wyoming, and Colorado, and Utah, obviously. I did perform in Tucson 2 weeks ago. I think the farthest I've performed in was Portland. Yeah, I'm not quite international yet. I am trying to work on a contract in Vietnam this year.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of competition. I probably won't get it, honestly, but that would be really cool.
For what kind of audience?
I'm not entirely clear. It's some sort of it's a Chinese company, some sort of consulting company, and they need they have so many people coming through. So much traffic that they need like a full-time entertainer just for the occasional party because they throw so many parties.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that would be pretty
really
sweet.
Love that.
So when you're traveling, I have a question. I've always been curious. I imagine you have like bunnies and pigeons, or no?
I do, yeah.
So how do you travel with these creatures?
I don't.
You just pick them up when you go to the town.
Right. I have a rabbit and a pigeon, and I only perform with them in town, or if you pay like an extra fee to make it worth it hauling the bunnies and the rabbits. I did. It was 3 weeks ago. I did take my Tarantula to Jackson, Wyoming. It was 9 degrees below zero in Jackson at that weekend, and it was for some rich people's party, and they had requested. I have to back up again. Excuse me.
No, you're fine.
A lot of companies will hire me year after year for their like Christmas party or whatnot, and so I have to come up with like a new something every year for these people, so they don't see the same thing. Like, oh, I remember that from last year. They don't want that, so I have to come up with new things. So this year's shtick, like this year's big thing, was I produced a tarantula, and this live tarantula, like let it crawl over me and like scared the ladies, and everyone loves that. Yeah,
scaring those ladies.
Oh yeah, everyone loves to hear the reaction from the ladies. They love it. They love it. So yeah, that was my shtick for this, and somehow they had heard about that, and they requested that shtick. And
make sure you bring this spider.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what they said. Yeah, we want a party, and we heard that you do this, so we want you to bring that, and so I did it. They paid well, so I had to drive to Jackson, Wyoming, in a blizzard. That was a little scary of a drive.
With the
would be really
tarantula,
scary.
on your passenger seat, right? Just
Well, I had my
little
lovely
Ernie.
assistant.
It's
who-
good company if you're stuck, on I-80 in the middle of a snowstorm.
No, a tarantula is not good company. Not at all. And my lovely assistant, she was with me, and she hates spiders. She's like the kind, not quite arachnophobic, but the kind where she'll scream if she sees one on the wall at home. But she is a trooper. She tried to put it away from me, and it crawled up her arm, and you could see like in her face, like her first reaction was to squash it, but she like restrained, she like froze, and she kind of said with clenched teeth, "Get this off me now."
That had to be the biggest internal struggle she's ever had.
You could see it in her face.
I want to kill this, but I can't.
Oh, so are you gonna?
Oh no, I was just curious if you ever collaborate with other artists, with
Absolutely.
other performers.
I love that.
At all.
I love that. I am technically a variety artist.
Well, you do so much already. I mean, you do a lot yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. My favorite regular collaboration was with a local band called Wanagani.
Oh yes, yes. I'm very familiar with them.
Yeah, I would sometimes perform during their concerts. I'll do something like where I don't have to speak while they're singing. I'll juggle or something like that. Do a magic trick in front of their stage while they're playing. That's one of my favorites.
Why is that? Why is it your favorite? Why? Just because I mean, different crowd.
Yeah, different crowd.
Music.
It is like something pretty like different from what I normally get to do. But they are a very eclectic crowd. They're very creative people. Like they play a saw. It's a gypsy punk band. For those of you who don't know who Wanagani is, it's a gypsy punk band. They're marvelous. I love them. But it's just something different and new that I don't get to do very often. And that's probably why I like it so much. There are, I do have a few friends of mine in town who are magicians, and we'll collaborate on something. We did, this is a good segue for one of my favorite stories. Friends of mine in town, magicians, they helped me put on a seance. And it's a fake seance, it's like a scary magic show, basically. But that was one of the highlights of my career is, I don't want to fool anyone to thinking like I'm a legitimate medium or anything like that.
Right.
These are real ghosts. But I do warn them, okay, I'm a magician and this is all just for fun. I don't want to harp on that too much because that kind of kills the mood a little bit. But that's all I'll say. And then we get into and then things will float around and I'll do tricks with tarot cards and stuff like that. And it's a ton of fun. But I did have a guy who said, I told him that. I said, okay, this is just for fun. Wink, wink. And he said, he was like some big brackish guy. And he says, I want to see the devil tonight. Show me the devil. Bring him on. And I was like, this is just for fun, dude. He's like, no, I ain't scared. Bring me the devil. I want to see him right now. And so I was like, okay, dude. Well, I broke his wine glass right in front of, like, magically, he didn't see how it happened, but his wine glass shattered right in front, and a piece of glass in his face, and the guy freaked. And his girlfriend was there. She burst out crying in tears. I'm done with this guy. I don't want to see the devil. And the guy flipped. And so we weren't even halfway through the show. The guy's like, I'm done.
Wow, like you scared him enough that he just
how old
wanted
the guy
out.
was he? Like 30s or 20s?
He was in his
or
40s. Yeah,
so he was older.
Yeah,
Well, you know what? He got what he asked for.
Yeah,
So
he wasn't
he
even
cannot
the devil.
complain.
It was a glass breaking.
That's a happy customer, if you ask me. That is awesome.
It was pretty far removed from like the devil.
Oh man!
But I guess that was close enough. So
I think that's great that just a shattered wine glass scared him, even though he wanted to meet the devil.
So if somebody, you know how I asked like advice for self-employed. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Like, say somebody's interested in becoming a magician, right? Would you go get one of those cheesy little boxes at the magic store? It's like, 20 magic tricks inside this box.
Or the one that has like the plastic thing with the half ball.
Or say your 11-year-old boy, Chrissy, was interested in becoming a magician. What would you, where do you
I actually
start?
went to a magic store in Vegas and bought some magic things for my kids because they were so into magic for a while.
Yeah.
Like
Was
the
it
magic
Houdini's?
bag. I think it was Houdini's
Yeah, that's
in the
for
MGM.
tourists.
Is that
Yeah.
what well, come on. Look, for me, it was real magic. So
So where would you recommend somebody to start? Or to
well, we
do?
were joking. the cheesy little cliche plastic balls like you were talking about. But I actually like those. As a professional, I won't do those in a corporate show, but I enjoy watching other people perform the little cheesy plastic things. I like to play with them myself sometimes. I think they're fun. If you want to be a magician, just start with what you know, what you enjoy. It is easy to fall into the trap as a magician, like, oh, this is not good enough. I have to do something bigger or something more complicated. And that's kind of a trap. If you do something that you're good at and that you have fun with, then odds are your audience will have fun as well. So a lot of good magicians will just fall on their face because they've bought the latest gimmick or something like that.
They try to improve.
Is there
past
like
what they need to.
a magic trick of the month club?
Yes.
You know, they send you a magic trick. I was kidding, but for real.
Is it like a mail-in thing? You get a coupon?
Like you get your, what is that mail thing you get, the geek thing?
Oh, yeah. Like I get the... what? Loot Crate.
Loot crate.
Yeah.
Is there a loot crate for magicians?
Yes, there is.
Dude.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Oh, I don't
can't
remember.
tell
Oh, well,
It's
you
just-
can't tell us. That's the trick. You have to figure out what it is if you want to get it. I have a question.
Yes.
What do you think of magicians who actually release secrets? Like, I know Penn and Teller are the main ones, but there was one show where the guy was a masked magician who would reveal secrets. Like, how do you guys feel
Chris
about
Angel.
those?
Was that Chris Angel?
No,
No, that's not. That's someone else.
I think this guy, nobody knows who he is, or maybe they found
His
out
name
by
is
now.
Valentino.
Valentino, that was it.
No,
Yeah.
he is the latest. The masked magician persona has existed for decades that I know of. There was one in the 70s who did a TV special. There was a one specifically just for David Blaine. He got like a TV special, but no one liked it. So they didn't continue with him. But then Valentino came about the same time Chris Angel did. And Valentino did reveal a lot of Chris Angel's, mostly because Chris Angel's, a lot of his tricks had to do with like TV magic, like camera tricks and
He's a hack.
actors. I didn't say that.
Oh, well, that's okay. I said it.
Yeah, well, you know, his Lefty's magician
legit
friends
magician.
are going to be listening to this, and you know.
Hey, I will call people out. That's
Would you
okay.
would you
I
ever
don't
want to
do
get
magic.
your own TV show?
I don't enjoy my whatever limited experience I've had on TV.
Yeah.
I did one TV show that I really did enjoy quite a bit, and that was probably one of the highlights of my career. Other than that, I really have not enjoyed whatever film or TV experiences I've had.
Would you ever consider doing like a YouTube channel where you do like small tutorials or something for kids?
I would,
You know?
yeah. I haven't really put the work into it.
Yeah.
I would do it if maybe I had more time or someone to collaborate with.
You're only working 3 days a week here. Buddy. You got a lot of time. I mean, what do you?
Hey, lay off. He's tired. He has a busy schedule.
What are you talking about over here? No time.
Those soap operas aren't going to watch themselves, Chris.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, okay. So, what besides magic? What are some of your other hobbies and interests? So, you know, people listening, you know, maybe they've seen a magic show, they've seen you out and around in Salt Lake. They want to know a little bit more about you. I mean, what else do you enjoy doing?
That's kind of my life, really, performing. But right now I take an acrobat class at Route to Rise in Farmington. Some wonderful people put that on, and they're amazing people. I'm nowhere near like the level of performing acrobatics on stage or anything like that, but it's what I do for fun.
Sure.
One of the things I do. But if someone wants to get to know me, they should come to Magic Monday. I don't know if you knew about that. I perform close-up magic at a chocolate shop every Monday night.
Is this the Hatch family
Yes.
chocolates? I love that.
Oh,
Yes.
we should go.
Yeah, we should take the kids up
We
there,
should.
right? We can bring.
Are you going to?
Absolutely.
Yeah, every Monday?
Every Monday, yes.
What time?
7 to 10. If I'm not able to make it there, I do have a replacement magician.
Oh,
so
nice.
there is a Magic Monday every Monday.
a
yes.
replacement.
Chocolate
Yeah.
and magic. I'm there.
Yeah,
It is so
They got
fun.
such good ice cream
Yes.
and chocolates, and
Oh, man.
my gosh!
For the listeners who don't know about it, they had a they got famous because of a reality show. There was a craze of little people reality shows for a time. Like
I was in that craze, man.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I loved the little people on the TV.
There's like the littlest dog trainer, just whatever. Like the littlest people with children. It's this huge fad.
Yeah, Little People, Big World.
Yeah, is that what it is? Yeah. I think there's still like Little Women of Atlanta or something.
So the
like that.
Hatches, they became famous from the.
Yeah,
the TV
they
show.
had it was only on for a few years, and they didn't really enjoy that experience, I'm told. But that kind of made them famous a little bit. But you're right. Their food there is amazing. Their ice cream, their chocolate is so good. A really popular thing to do in the winter is to get some hot chocolate from them, and it tastes like they melted a chocolate bar and put it in a cup. That's really what it tastes like. So good.
Man.
But they'll get a hot chocolate, and then they'll go walk in downtown and see the Christmas lights. That's a very popular thing to do in the winter, in December. It's a great date night thing to do. Yeah.
So every Monday,
magic,
and I'll put
chocolate.
those links of the address of the place. It's like up in the avenues, like 8th
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Street or something like that, kind of up near the hospital.
You're a man about town. Look at
Well,
you.
I didn't live
He's
too
been
far.
around.
I didn't live too far from there at one time. I
Okay.
was in the avenues, and I'm pretty familiar. We invited Ryan. Ryan's sitting in on this episode. He's kind of juggling some ideas and questions in his head, but I have a few other questions I want to ask you really quick before Ryan jumps in here and takes control of the microphone. Salt Lake City, I always have to ask this. If you've listened to any episodes, people know I always ask this of everybody that comes in, is like if somebody was visiting Salt Lake City for a day, is there something you would say, you got to check this out? One thing, two things, I don't know, whether it's a building, an area of town.
Oh, wow. I'm a fan of downtown. I like downtown quite a bit. I do like the outdoorsy stuff.
Sure.
There's a lot of fun stuff like that. If you have a few hours, I would say just take a walk downtown.
Yeah.
I really do like the downtown area. I like the architecture. Every now and then you'll see a street performer, but that's not something that's like unique to
Have you
Salt
ever
Lake.
thought about getting out there and doing some street?
I've done it.
perform-
Yeah.
You've done it.
Yeah, I've done it. Yeah. There's one of the things I did for fun. I met some friends. Like there's a really popular guy named Rudy in town. He's a photographer. He goes to all the big special events and he just takes pictures of people. So he's hugely popular. He has like 5 million Facebook friends. And I met him.
I didn't know that was
Super funny.
possible.
He's magic.
That's awesome.
What about favorite local eating spots? Any one or two places that you're like, I love this restaurant or I love this.
The other place is a really good underground place. Like
Somebody's mentioned that one, and I have it on my list.
it's I go
places
there
to go.
after every gig that's in the downtown area. I always go there to eat after this. I went there after my eyebrow convention. That was fun. Bruges is a really good one. You've heard that one?
Waffles. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I like that place. I'm trying to think of more.
Oh, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Two places. I was just always curious. I always like to ask, kind of maybe one day I'll make a book of all of the recommendations of
Spitz
places.
downtown. Oh,
man.
yeah, that's a good one.
Love some Spitz. But do you have any? So Ryan's been sitting over on the couch watching. I mean, hey, do you have any questions from
Watching, judging,
listening?
judging. Look
Mostly
at the baby.
judging.
Look at the baby. Little movie jokes.
Did you notice the sex doll faces?
So I was here for the sex doll
Oh.
event. I actually got a little sample face myself, which my significant other's just been putting in random spots around the house for me to find. Because I go take a piss, bam, right there on the mirror. Open the cupboard, boom, right on the coffee
That is
stuff.
such
That's
a good
how you know
idea.
you got a good one.
Yeah, he was here. He actually, so the guy, he brought a doll in. I mean, it was the size of a regular person.
Yeah,
and
we hung
Ryan's
out.
over there sitting.
Emotions
and-
ran high.
and
she touched my leg.
So, I mean, do you have any magician questions? Have you ever dabbled in magic, Ryan?
I don't think I never have, but when I watch it, I mean, I'm always the guy who's like, all right, show me how you did that. Because of course there's, you watch like Chris Angel do his thing, or you watch like David Blaine's weird stuff. So I wanted to know what really impressed you, where you're like, come on.
Oh, sure.
How did he do that?
Oh, there's a couple of things like that. I did one time get angry. I saw a man, he did a little trick. He had a key, put it in his hand, he made it vanish. But I got angry. Because he says, "Oh, I'll teach you this trick for $5. I'll teach you how to do this." And he did it. And I got angry. I said, "That's not a trick. That's real magic. You're a liar." And I just remember, and like for a good 30 seconds, I just went crazy, thinking like, "Oh, like real Harry Potter exists," and all the things that you've imagined. Like
Did you
Santa
eventually
Claus.
learn it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I eventually learned it. Yeah. It's a good one. It's a good one. But if you do this enough, it catches you in the proper mood. And any little or big thing can catch you in the right mood. It can really, blow your mind. And that one got me. Every now and then I'll get someone else like that, but it's really, really difficult to predict what will catch who in the right mood or the right time. Penn and Teller told a story. There's an old trick where you reach over, if you're driving a car and you reach over and you hit like the cigarette lighter or whatever, and you beep the horn at the same time. It kind of creates the illusion like the cigarette lighter is the horn. Mm-hmm. And it's like what you do for kids, but he tells a story like it got him, it just got him in the right mood.
Really?
Yeah. And he wasn't really paying attention. He saw that and he just he blows his mind.
When it catches you off guard.
He thought Santa Claus was real for just 30 seconds of his life. Yeah.
Interesting.
But then also,
wait a minute there. No, sorry. I was going to interrupt about the Santa Claus isn't real part, but sorry. go.
Ruin my childhood.
Yeah.
I said he was real. That's what I said.
Yeah.
No. There's another one. When I was a kid, I did watch David Copperfield on TV with my dad, and at the time we had VHS, and he recorded David Copperfield, and he didn't really care about the Statue of Liberty disappearing, but in that episode he did this little trick with rubber bands, and that's what got my dad, and I remember he rewound it and he watched it, played it in slow motion 50 times. He got right up to the TV and he couldn't tell how he did it. And
because the pixels are 5 inches big each.
Yeah. On VHS tape. Yeah. I remember that. But then years and years, I was 30 years old and I found that trick in a book on how to do that same rubber band trick that David Copperfield did that got my dad, and I was so excited to show my dad, because I thought, I'm gonna be in his mind I'll be David Copperfield. I can't wait for this. And I went up to him and said, Dad, watch this. And I had this rubber band. I did the trick, and my dad was like, nah. I was just
broke your heart,
yes.
man.
It just crushed
I actually
me.
remember that Statue of Liberty thing. I don't know how old I was. I wasn't that old.
It was.
So did he
80s.
actually make
pissed.
Statue of Liberty disappear?
Yeah, you can.
You gotta get
watch
on
that
Google,
YouTube
man.
right now.
Disappeared.
Have you seen Arrested Development where Job sinks the yacht?
Once a week.
Oh wait, he makes the yacht disappear. That's what I meant.
No, I have not seen that. But maybe at least once a week, someone says, "Have you seen that episode of Arrested Development?" And I haven't.
You've never watched Arrested Development? Okay,
not a single episode.
Besides the fact that they really make fun of magicians a lot,
Right.
It is one of the best shows you could ever watch. It's so
you might
great.
love it then.
Maybe.
Do you have any other questions, Ryan?
Is there anything we can learn tonight? Are there any little tricks that we can see in person? Not to put you on the spot.
Well, it makes it kind of bad audio.
I didn't
here,
come prepared.
you know.
Well, the one I
Maybe
teach
we
you how
do
to
it off
do
the air, and then you tease it in the intro.
Okay.
Or we could Facebook Live
What about the
real
old?
quick
What
and have
about
you
the
do a
old
trick.
thumb ones? There
that's
we
a good
go.
one.
The old.
My dad used
Chris
to
just took off half his thumb.
Oh my gosh. Why is there no blood?
Do that again.
Burn the witch. Burn the witch.
So anyway, so you're going to be performing at the Utah. What is it? The Utah
Children's Theater. Yes.
Children's Theater. I'll put links for that at iamsaltlake.com.
Thank you.
So
Magic Monday is my
Magic
favorite.
Monday at the Hatch Family Chocolates.
That is so much fun. You really have no idea.
Sounds like a
great.
party.
We got to go to this.
Yeah.
You guys are going to make a bunch of chocolate disappear. You fat piece of
Like all of it.
No, so people listen. I'm trying to give them
Half-pound
kind
of
of a
chocolate's
thing.
missing.
I appreciate
and
that.
obviously,
these kids.
any other places that you? Or those are kind of the things right now. I guess.
Those are the regular things, yeah. The majority of my career is smaller.
Sure,
Well,
sure.
I'm sorry. I mean private things, like a company part, like the eyebrow convention. I couldn't invite you to that.
What,
Yeah.
Right. It's
What's your
more
website
party-based.
so people can go to that to reach out to you?
Sure. My website is my name, eliascaress.com. There's no lefty in that, sorry. But it's spelled ELIASCARESS. Caress, like the touch. Yes. I've picked up many girls.
Because you're
in my time
obviously good with
that.
your hands.
I practice.
And then Facebook. Do you, people can reach out to you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Or what are your thoughts on?
There's very
Facebook?
few lefties on Facebook. So if you search for lefty on Facebook and you see the guy with the silly mustache, that's me. Yeah.
And I do have one more question. Are you friends with Bobber the Clown? at the Chinese Gourmet.
Yes,
You are?
Yes, his name is Ernie, and
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his. I do
He
like him
is so
quite a
much
bit.
fun.
Yeah, well, no, I would love to get him on I Am Salt Lake. I'd love to get
I
some-
love Ernie. Yeah, you should. He's
yeah,
great.
I'll reach out to. I just always curious. You always see that up on the sign, Bobber the Clown, right there.
Yeah.
On 45.
I took my kids and they were just like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, no, watch.
People
It's
are
cool.
afraid of clowns.
He does
I
the full face.
Yeah, I don't
but-
know why
does.
people are afraid of clowns.
I love clowns.
Yeah.
I think they're funny. I think they're great. Even the full face. Yeah.
I'm working on liking clowns.
Yeah.
He does hobo clown, which is like one of the scarier ones. He doesn't have sharp teeth or anything, but he has like a painted like a 5 o'clock shadow. It's just
Yeah.
like I started in like I don't know the 20s, the hobo clown thing.
Sure, the tramp.
Yeah, like Charlie Chaplin sort of. Yeah,
Yeah.
the tramp. Yeah, I do love Ernie. You should have him a bobber.
Bobber the Clown.
Yeah. He has a signature balloon animal that no one else in the world has. It's the thingamabob. And he has he'll build this balloon animal and they'll have a little rubber ball, a little toy like you give to kids, and he'll make the ball go into the balloon. And I love it. I think it's great. It's so great.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
And then he'll give the balloon to the kid, so. And it's a balloon, so it can't have a trapdoor or anything like that. And he gives it away, so you can't really examine the balloon to see how it's done. But I love it. I think it's great. Yeah.
We got to get one of my kids to get that balloon. Do some investigation.
Go to Chinese Gourmet on I think it's Monday.
Monday
Yeah,
nights.
yeah, yeah.
Monday. Well,
We're gonna have some great Monday evening
Chinese
activities.
Gourmet, and then go up and get some dessert.
Yeah.
Up at Hatch. Anything more you want to add? Why we have the record button still going here? I mean, I've had a heck of a conversation. I've loved getting to know you. And,
You guys are fun.
This is really fun. I could keep going.
I can do one that might translate well to audio if you would like to see a trick. Afterwards, I could teach a trick, but that one will definitely not translate to audio.
Well, yeah. Maybe you could even try to translate it while we're doing it here.
Yeah, if you want to do it. There's a long and proud tradition of performing magic on the radio, and
Really?
the mind readers got very popular doing that.
Back in the 20s when everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them, it was a regular spot. They would have a. This is another thing. The tradition of the mentalist was there's a man and a woman who was a medium, and the man it's kind of like the tradition of the magician, like he makes the woman do all the work and he takes the credit. It's that sort of situation, but he'll just help a woman like read minds or tell the future or something like that. But there was I can't think of the name. They would send the woman to exotic locations, like they put her in a submarine once. And we're transmitting from far beneath the sea with Angela the mind reader. And they would have would say, okay, Angela, what am I thinking from 10,000 feet below the ocean? And she would tell you what you're thinking, like what number you picked or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll do a little mind reading for you.
Ooh.
I'm not a mentalist myself, but I can do a little bit.
I know always what Ryan's thinking about over there.
I'm throwing up some shade right now. Can't see.
All right.
Scrambling numbers.
I'm hoping the audio audience is familiar with the movie Ghostbusters.
Oh,
They better be.
If you're not familiar with Ghostbusters, put this on pause and go watch it.
You're
I
only
mean the
allowed to come
original,
back
not
afterwards.
the latest. The latest
Yeah.
was good.
It was
but-
all right for what it was. It was a good movie. You
I heard
can't
it was
really compare
bad.
it.
I think you're both
What,
lying.
with the women?
I'll go watch it, but let's
No, it was
continue with the
good.
trick. Here we go. The original scared me.
Well, I'm drawing pictures on my phone right now. But these are
Oh, Bill Murray in the beginning. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
the second scene in Ghostbusters where Bill Murray, he was trying to make people read minds,
Mm-hmm.
and he was trying to shock people into becoming psychic.
Yeah.
He would like electrocute them,
If
but
they
he
got it
wouldn't do
wrong.
it with the pretty girl because he's flirting with her.
Yep.
That was haha, it's funny. But the pictures that he was using are legitimately created for experimenting with telepathy. They're called Zener symbols, and that's what I just drew. There's a circle, a cross, a square, wavy lines, and a star. The idea is that if telepathy is possible, it would be most successful with the simplest possible message to convey.
Right.
So these little simple shapes are what they came up with. Dr. Ryan at Duke University. You can Google this if you like. So whose mind should I read?
Chris's.
Okay,
he's
Chris's-
impossible.
Chris's mind.
Read my mind.
All right, so
bring
Chris.
it to me. Okay.
I've got these 5 symbols, and I should say I can't do this 100% of the time. I'm usually good, but I'm not guarantee. I'm not going to bet money that I'm going to read your mind, but I'm going to try.
Okay.
So pick one of these symbols. Don't tell me what it is, obviously, but pick one in your mind and let me know when you've got one. Okay,
I've got it.
Okay. Well, now I can't just tell you. I work in bars sometimes, right? So if I just tell someone, okay, you're thinking of this one. Well, someone might say, no, I'm not. Ha, ha, ha. And lie, basically. So that happens to me a lot. So we're going to do this in the fairest way possible. I'm going to draw what I think you're thinking of. I'll put the prediction down, and then you tell us what you're thinking of, and then we get to see if I was correct.
Okay, fair
All right,
enough.
so you're thinking of one, yes?
I'm thinking real hard of it.
All right, so the prediction is down. I'm going to change that. I'm going to change it. You're a tough nut to crack, Chris, but I think I got you. Okay. The prediction is down. I can't change it, so tell us all what you were thinking of.
I was thinking of the star.
The star?
I was a star.
All right.
Here comes the phone.
Oh, snap. It's the star.
Okay.
What?
Got you, dude.
Get out of here.
That's crazy. Do Ryan.
Demon spawn.
I could watch this all night.
And I'll teach you how to do a trick yourselves after the...
Oh, wait a second. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to crack this, but I have a theory on how to crack it.
You have a theory on
Don't
how
be
this
a
works?
spoiler. Ryan.
I'm not going to be a spoiler. I just hit the brakes, but everyone's mind goes there.
Well, yeah.
I'm not saying it. I
was just
think
hoping
that
you
it
picked the
might
same
work.
thing I did, and you didn't. And I was like, I don't get why you picked the star. It's obviously not the most fun shape.
Were you thinking of the bacon? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
of? Yeah. See?
I would have
Well,
called it the
you know it.
waves. I was thinking of
The
the waves.
waves
Squiggly
is the
lines.
bacon. Yeah.
Yeah.
The squiggly lines.
Well, now that you call it bacon, it makes a lot of sense why I was
Why you were
so
attracted
focused.
to it.
Yeah.
See, I got you too.
You did
right?
get me.
Yeah, I got you too.
How'd you do that? Because I said it was fun, and it's a fun shape. I gave you a hint.
When you say the word bacon out loud, does the picture appear? If I say star, does a big star appear? No? Okay. That's what I was thinking. Chris says star. Bang.
Well, think about how successful your voice to text is.
Yeah,
on
I
your
was.
I Does that work
realized
100% of the
that
time?
Siri would have
Like-
messed this joke badly.
Well, that's great. He blew my mind.
How do you beat it? We're all just trying to figure out how that happened.
Well,
Put a pen through your hand.
Thank you so much. Are you on Twitter or Instagram at all, or
Yes.
no?
Yeah.
You're on Twitter?
Yes. I believe it's Elias Caress.
Okay.
Twitter, yeah.
Okay. Well, excellent. Well, we'll connect on Twitter as well.
Awesome.
Instagram as well.
I believe Elias Caress, yes.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks for
I've got
coming
a
out.
heck
Thanks
of a
for
Nice to
coming.
meet you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's been great. You guys are fun.
So are you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Many thanks to Elias Caress for coming on this episode. What a great conversation.
Yeah, and a great magic trick.
Well, he got me. I still
can't-
don't know how he did it.
Like, we sat around trying to figure it out. I still don't get it. It was impressive.
For being, I know I mentioned this a few times on the podcast. For doing clown shows, dabbling in the magical world, there's still a lot of magic tricks that boggle my mind.
Oh, yeah.
And he definitely got it. We're going to have pictures and whatnot. All the links to connect with him at iamsaltlake.com/263. That's for episode 263. Connect with links. Go check him out if he's got doing any shows. I know we talked about some shows he's got going on. Go check him out. Go check him out at the chocolate shop. And enjoy him. He really is a great addition here to Salt Lake City, Utah. Remember, this episode of the podcast is sponsored by Jed's Barbershop. Really excited to announce that their third location is opened up. It's ready for you to go in and get a haircut. 167 East, 900 South, right next to Randy's Records. Go get a haircut, a beard trim, or even a straight razor shave. Jed's Barbershop is open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday 9 to 7, and Sunday 12 to 5. Like I said, their new location is opened up, 167 East, 900 South, and no appointment is necessary. Just head on in, get a haircut if you want to look good. If you got a Tinder date, a business interview, you want to look good, you want to look your best, Jed's is the place to go. And they were actually recently voted best in state by City Weekly in KSL. Hey, speaking of Jeds, next Sunday, February 12th, depending on when you're listening to this, hopefully you're listening to it before February 12th, they're having an art show featuring a local artist, Maomi Sunshine. There's also going to be a band playing. It's going to be going on from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at their downtown location, 212 South, 700 East. And I know your eyes were lighting up over here about
mine?
Jeds.
Oh, yeah, they were, because I have a thing I want to say.
What do you want to say over there?
You need to visit the new location because there is a mural that he had made that is so cool. And guess whose face is on it?
Well, so the other night, Jed sent me a text and he said, "Where's Waldo?" So he sent this huge mural of all this stuff that they drew of Salt Lake City, Utah, the mountains and beehives.
It's
and
really cool.
Some cool local things and whatnot. And what was there? There was a face of me, the beard, the glasses, everything looked just
so
like me.
Awesome.
With me saying, "I am Salt Lake Podcast." So it was really cool. I feel really honored to be part of the
You're part
mural.
of Salt Lake, man. We got to go get a picture with it.
Absolutely. If you go to Jed's, I'm going to say this for the podcast, for the record, go take a selfie and tag me in it. I'd love to see you.
Let's do this.
Yeah. Plus I would like to get to know the listeners of the podcast. I mean, it's great to get to know you guys. Seriously.
And it's nice to put a face with the name.
Absolutely.
Like, that's huge.
Absolutely. Hey, there's a few ways you can support the podcast. Let's run down the list now. I mean, a lot of people are sending messages. They're like, "We love your show. How can we support you? How can we make sure that this podcast stays alive?" First and foremost, make sure to leave an iTunes review. This helps boost our ratings, helps get the podcast exposed to more people. You can go buy an I Am Salt Lake mug from our friends at Watchtower Cafe, 1590 South State Street. The mugs are only $10. You get some coffee in it. You're supporting the podcast this way. You can also give a one-time donation by clicking the PayPal button at iamsaltlake.com, or you can go to iamsaltlake.com/supporter and become a Patreon supporter. That way you are kind of a continual supporter.
That's right. And if you sign up for a $5 Patreon supporter, you get a free koozie.
Like for a beer koozie. Summer's right around the corner. You're going to want to make sure you have that koozie out by
for
the
your
swimming
beverage.
pool. Hey, that's it. What a great show with Elias. It's been beautiful here in Salt Lake City. Spring is right around the corner.
The sun is out. I'm so excited.
About time to put some shorts on. But hey, support our sponsors, Oleo Skin and Beard, Jed's Barbershop. Leave an iTunes review. Go buy a mug. Do something. Get out. Love the city. It's beautiful. Support local.
Good night, Grammy.